Hey guys, thanks for stopping at Sho-Me Tint. We got a couple things going on today, but one of the things we're going to talk about is 5 questions you should ask your installer before you get paint protection film. Okay. Well, 1 second. What the are you doing? Hurry up and go subscribe. Hit it. You got to get it done. Go subscribe right now. Quit waiting. I'm back. Hello. Hey, girl. 5 questions you should ask your installer before getting paint protection film. That's super important. The knowledge of your installer, their experience. These kind of questions will help you kind of like fill them out and know what you're looking for and what you need to get done. One of the most common questions we get is what areas of protection do you recommend and why? So those are important, and it's pretty easy when you start thinking about it. High impact areas are super important. The high impact areas when you're driving down the road are like oncoming areas. So like you're driving down the road, where are you gonna get rock chips? Your front bumper. It'd be like your hood, your fenders, your bumper, your rockers, behind the rear wheels. I always ask everybody, how are you gonna drive it? You know, are you gonna get on it? Are you here because you're spinning tires? You definitely want something behind the rear wheel, especially. You know, a lot of people have nice cars that come in and we do it right, and do it to fit their needs. So it can be very custom, you know. It's not always wrap the whole car is not always the answer. Does your installer remove body panels and emblems prior to installation? We like to remove the emblems if possible, so that way you don't see a seam around an emblem. The gaps can be off. So a lot of times we'll remove it and then reinstall it to try to hide all the edges of the film as possible. That's just what we do here. I'm not saying it's not acceptable to do a kit that goes around the emblem, you know, but we personally like to hide all the edges possible. So we're taking the whole installation into consideration. So a lot of installers will just do your bumper or do like a partial, is what they call it, like a partial strip, you know. So we personally try to talk people into doing whole pieces because we want to show off your car and not the film. So we like to do a whole hood, a whole fender versus a partial. You know, so those kind of questions when you're talking to your installer can be really informative on their experience and their commitment to your installation and what it's going to look like. Because if I'll just throw a little piece up on the front and you'll be fine. They're really not taking your car appearance into mind. So, you know, those kind of questions to me, it's a key thing when someone's like, oh, I just had a little strip and I liked it, you know. Well, it gets way better than that. It leads us into the next question, which is like, do you bulk install or do you use patterns? Most generally, your installer should have a nice pattern database from you to choose from, depending on your car. So that's the thing, is like your car, if it's something old school, something custom, you know already you're looking for something custom. But your installer should be familiar with patterns, the type of software patterns. They should have all these knowledges already built in if they're experienced and they're doing it a lot. The pattern software is key. There's no exception for a good quality pattern database as a resource for an installer. And they should be able to show you your patterns, show you what you're going to get, where any seams are going to be, and they can actually change the fitment of the pattern on the computer before the installation. I go over that with a lot of my clients. We're looking at it. Sometimes there's options. So, you know, there's a bunch of choices. Or you get into bulking, you're literally taking a piece off the film, off the roll, rolling it onto the car, and then that's when you get into that scary stuff that you see where people are cutting on your car. We try to avoid that. I'm not saying that I haven't done it, but on some cars there's no pattern. So the next good question is, what happens when it's time to remove PPF? Or what if I want to remove it when I resell it? What's my paint going to look like underneath? If done correctly, your paint should be fine and safe and protected, as the name implies, paint protection film. So when it's done correctly, you know, you can have a bad installation which could affect your paint. So these questions you're asking your installer, be thorough with your choice, because all those can affect what happens next. You know what I mean? So generally you can remove it. I've done it a whole bunch. We've removed a lot of it. You know, I had a guy that we did one in 2014. We removed it and reinstalled it on the spot. You know, so it's important to know your installer and their capabilities. The most popular question, of course, is what kind of warranty comes with your paint protection film. So this one is a 12-year warranty, so that's super important for us. It's the longest warranty that we know of on the market, and it's a really reputable company. Suntech reaction film is really popular. It's super clear. It combines with core pattern software. So those two things help us be very competitive in the market. If you're not in this area and you're looking for something like that, they're all over the United States, and the warranty travels with the same customer. It's state to state, nationwide. So those kind of things. Are you going to be safe if you move? Do you take your car? Is your warranty gone? You have to worry about all those things. And it's if you've never done it before, it can be scary. But that's kind of like when people get in, they lock in with us because they've had a good experience and they keep coming back because of the service. And one more bonus question. Typically the first question, honestly, that people ask that I have to unravel out of them is, what's it going to cost? They're like, hey, I want paper protection film. How much is it? What do you have? It's a car. No, I need to know the size of the car. So it's important to know make and model of your vehicle and how much you're thinking about covering, because you get into full wraps, and it can range. It can be a couple $100 or $5,000, or 12, but it's really about $22 a square foot for most domestic installations. It can get a little custom and it can get a little pricey if you get a little more custom. But most generally the stuff we do every day is day in, day out is $22 a square foot. And we just we know our material cost, we know our labor and capabilities, so it's easy to kind of calculate those two things, But try to have some information before you call with a price. Hopefully this has been informative for you guys. Hopefully you're able to answer some of these questions and help you make a good, solid decision. If you have any other questions, comment on there, subscribe, share it, tell your friends, whatever, But definitely ask me, because I'd be glad to help. I like helping people with their cars. So if you have any questions, just comment one and I'll be glad to answer it. So you get me personally. I'll jump right in there. So let me know if you need anything. Thank you. I'm back. Hello. Hey girl.